Alrighty, welcome everybody to the formulajonah YouTube channel once again, and I'm delighted to say it is race week in racing across the world. We're going to be covering two races, so that's going to be really exciting. We're going to be going into a WEC preview for the next round, as well as an IMSA one, so a lot to talk about for sure. But I'm really glad to be back with my co-host on the live streams here, David. David, you covered the Imola 6 hours watch party all by yourself, and I gotta say, what a great job you did. But it is good to see that you and I are back. The band's back together. We're getting ready for another race week. So, how are you doing as we head into another set of racing?
Well, thank you, Jonah. It was a great race. I'm doing awesome. Last time out, I spoke a lot about it probably being a quite boring race because it's hard to overtake at. I
Right.
could have not been any more wrong. There was so many overtakes. It was such a great race. Um, but but yeah, I'm looking forward to Spa and Laguna Seca. Knowing Spa a lot, it's at least also last year we have an example of it being such a crazy race normally. So a lot can happen, and I'm looking forward to racing as always.
Well, yeah, I mean it's going to be a really exciting couple of days here. Got a lot to discuss. David, you mentioned that we're heading into round 3 for Spa, of course, an iconic circuit. This is the Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps, the same track that Formula One goes to, the same track that hosts the iconic 24 Hours of Spa, which of course we will be covering on later in the month or later next month. Sorry. But for now, we're covering a 6 hour endurance race, which was quite hectic last time out. We were here, if I might add. But as you can see on screen to the right, there's a picture of a Ferrari 499P with the 6 Hours of Spa logo at the top. This is going to be an excellent race. This is the third round of the World Endurance Championship, which also happens to be the penultimate race before the big 24 hours of Le Mans. So, a lot of preparation heading into this race, a lot of things to discuss, and yeah. But as we alluded to throughout this stream so far, Spa is not the only race that's going on. We are also heading to an iconic track, another iconic track, over in America, my home circuit, one that I'm very much looking forward to. So that is the Laguna Seca Raceway, or WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, the track that has the iconic corkscrew at it as well. This race is called the TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship, so it's sponsored by TireRack. It's going back to the name which it had back in 2022 and in the past as well. And yeah, really excited for this race, not just because it's a great IMSA venue, it's a great circuit, but for me personally, I'm really excited because I'm going to be attending the event in person for the first time in 2025, and I'm genuinely excited. And I have proof that I attended in the past, as seen by my photo on the right of the BMW M Hybrid V8. But yeah, I think that it's going to be an exciting race. I think we're going to get a lot of action. It is a smaller event, David, compared to Spa. Spa is 6 hours, unless drama happens like last year and it's longer. Um, and then the Laguna Seca venue is, I think, around 3 hours. So it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, to be precise. So just about 3 hours, so half the length of Spa. But nevertheless, we still have quite a few exciting entries on the grid, which we'll get into in just a bit. But yeah, David, I want to get your thoughts real quickly on this double weekend that we have here. This is the first one that we've had in 2025 where it's a back-to-back clash with a WEC and IMSA venue happening on the exact same weekend. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's of course for some viewers it may be a lot of racing, and of course if you want to follow all the action with qualifying and practice and the race, it can be quite a tough time keeping along with all the things. But as a casual fan, maybe, and a fan who doesn't want to watch all the practices and all the qualifying, it's great because you have non-stop racing for the whole weekend, and who doesn't like that? So for me, it's absolutely great. If it wasn't for time zones, I would probably be watching the whole thing. Um, but but yeah, it's of course it's better when we get like a lot more, lot spread out, and we have a weekend for one race. But when IMSA with the race at Laguna Seca being so short, and it not only being only also being a 6 hour race at Spa, it fits right along. It would be different if we had, of course, the Daytona and Le Mans at the same weekend. Then we would be quite tired come the end of the weekend.
That would be very, very interesting to have Daytona, the Rolex 24, and Le Mans on the same weekend. I think I'd be sleeping for the next week if that was the case. But yeah, I think that it is great to see that we have two iconic races on the same week. I think for viewers, they should keep in mind as well that thank goodness it's not the same day for both races. So it's just the event that clashes. Um, the other event that I want to mention real quickly, and the second event that clashes between WEC and IMSA, is the 6 hours of Interlagos and the Chevrolet Grand Prix at CTMP. That those two races take place on the same day, so it's not like that. The difference is here is that Spa's race takes place on Saturday the 10th, so that's May 10th, where Laguna Seca's race takes place on Sunday, so the day after on the 11th. So that's definitely much better. For me, I can cover the Spa event on Saturday by doing like qualifying results and stuff like that, and then also go into the Laguna Seca race and actually attend that one. So it's definitely more convenient. But real quickly, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's joined so far. It's been great to see all your support over this last couple of weeks, especially. We can see that endurance racing is hyping up once again. For me, what I've noticed is that usually how it works is that Daytona, Sebring, the first race in the WEC is always the big, like huge kind of moment of the year outside of Le Mans and June. And then it kind of settles down a little bit before ramping up again till the big events. So we're starting to see that climb of the tension towards endurance racing building. That's only going to increase with the amount of racing that we're going to get this weekend. So again, thank you so much for your support. I know, David, you and I were just talking about how many people joined your live stream, the first one without me, and you did an amazing job. 7,000 viewers that video has, and I just want to say congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. It's our audience that really pulls it through, and had a great comment section. So um, it's really, when me and Joe, I hit Jonah up, and our plan was to make a community here that people can come and speak about endurance racing and learn about endurance racing. This is what we wanted. We wanted people to come and chat and to talk. Um, and with endurance racing in general being in a platinum era,
Yes.
and sports car racing also just being in at an absolutely peak. Um, it couldn't have been a better time to start this. So we're just happy that you are along, following along, and wanting to discuss these kind of things with us. That's what we're here for. We are fans. So for so many fans to choose to listen to me speak over the start of the race instead of commentators, that's huge. Um, yeah, and wanting to listen to our predictions, even though sometimes we're really, really wrong about our predictions. But we are fans and not experts, and that's the beauty of it. It's a community.
Yeah, I completely echo your words here, David, and I think that it's great to see the community building. You know, it's great to see that a lot of you are interested in this sort of type of racing, and it's just awesome. So before we get into our preview, I quickly want to answer a question just to show that we are interacting with you, because uh, this isn't just me and David talking here, viewers. We're interacting with you, the community, and we want to make sure that you're included into this whole live stream process. So one comment I wanted to mention is from Mac, who says, on a side note, did you guys watch the ELMS race last weekend? So for anyone that's not aware, the ELMS race was the 4 hours of Lake
4 hours.
Castellet. Yep, that's right. And I think it was a pretty entertaining race from what I watched. Did you catch the action, David?
I catch the start, and we already had the spin on the first lap, so uh, it was quite wild. Normally for me, ELMS is always so tight and cramped compared to what we see at IMSA and WEC because all the cars are so similar. LMP2 always makes this close racing, and we know the GT3 cars also does that. So ELMS is just a peak championship for close racing. I always look at ELMS like the Formula 2
Yes.
of endurance racing. We see these young, talented drivers and teams that are aspiring to join the WEC or IMSA. So this is like the first few races and the first few uh, times we are going to see these drivers race endurance racing and really learn the ropes of driving with all this traffic and driving for so long and being competitive over such long distances. So yeah, also at La Castellet and or Paul Ricard, some would call it, we know it normally is a bit of a boring track from Formula One days, but ELMS has really taken it into its own, and with the chicane back now after a few years away, it really put some difference into it. So yeah, really great race.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it's great to see like so much popularity around ELMS growing. Just to quickly note on that race, it's been a great season so far for AF Corsa with the win last time out in Barcelona. Now they got the win in GT3 with the number 50 Ferrari. Um, and then it's been so far an amazing start to the season for Edix Sport with Genesis Magma Racing, of course, in collaboration there with the number 18 car winning again, which is great to see. Anywho, though, let's move into the topic of this video: the 6 hours of Spa and the IMSA TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship previews and predictions. So first we're going to go into kind of like a introduction to these two races, and then we're going to be going into mine and David predictions for the events, which we'll get into towards the end of this live stream. Stick with us, comment all your thoughts. We will respond to as much as possible. But first, let's cover the 6 hours of Spa. This is the WEC's penultimate round before the 24 hours of Le Mans. We got a lot of questions heading into this race. And yeah, David, I want to get your thoughts real quickly as we head into this event. We've talked briefly about the upcoming venue, but what's a key factor for you looking forward to this event? What's something that you're interested about?
Well, I'm really interested in seeing if Ferrari can keep up this dominance. Normally, Spa has been a strong track for them.
Yes.
Spa and Le Mans really are strong tracks normally for the Ferrari, and of course, this year we have seen Ferrari dominate in WEC. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they really can keep that up. I'm also still interested in seeing where Porsche is because it seems like they are really struggling so far at the start of the season, and of course they are getting help with by the BOP. Ferrari and
Yes.
Toyota getting heavier and less powerful. Um, so there are some storylines there. Where what are they what are they planning on? Is it sandbagging ahead of the Le Mans to win the 20th Le Mans? Is that the whole master plan of doing this, throwing away the championship, or what could happen? Of course, last time it was a Porsche winning this race,
Right.
with Jota winning Spa last year. So yeah, a lot of storylines. Also, Aston Martin, the most powerful car on track now, together with Alpine. What could happen here is Aston Martin all of a sudden a great car because of DOP. I personally don't think so. I'll still just get to the end of the races, but yeah, a lot of things, a lot of storylines, but we'll get to the predictions. But I see Ferrari right now being the car to beat, and looking forward to see if anybody could put up any competition for them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's definitely going to be a close race. And that's one of the questions that I have heading into this event as well is can Ferrari continue their domination? You know, Qatar and Imola, they won. They were pretty competitive in both events. Spa last year, they arguably would have won the race if it wasn't for the red flag. Last year, it was really Porsche and Ferrari that kind of had the fastest cars. Cadillac had a pretty quick car as well, but we all know how that ended out. But I think that Ferrari's got a good chance of winning here at Spa. However, the BOP has really hit them negatively at this race. They are not looking good on the BOP. Now, this could be a slight factor, but I think that it's not going to affect them too much. I think they're still going to have a very competitive car. They're going to be the manufacturer to beat regardless. I think that it's going to be interesting to see kind of where Porsche are at as well. Like you said, David, they were quick, very quick last year. They had very fast cars with all five entries, I think, that were there. And I think that they have a good chance of getting a top five in this race. But we'll see how it goes. For me, I'm very interested to kind of see where the manufacturers are. Aston Martin has had a huge break in the BOP, as you mentioned, David. I think they've really helped out. They've really helped things, I guess, in general. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see how things kind of go with all these manufacturers. But for me, I think that I want to see kind of where each manufacturer is come practice and qualifying. I do think that there's a good chance that the two main manufacturers that are going to be fighting for the win are not Ferrari and are not Porsche. I think BMW have a very strong car. I think that they're going to be up there. And I also think that Peugeot and Alpine have very competitive race cars as well. Peugeot is really good on the BOP. They are the best. They are positive on the BOP in all areas. They have the least, they have the most powerful car, and they have the lightest car on the grid as well by quite some margin to the other entries in the grid. And I'll pull up a BOP chart in just a moment if I get an opportunity to do so. But yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot of storylines heading into this race. And just a quick side note, we were talking about that Valkyrie, the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Heart of Racing are back with both of the cars, and they're hoping to get hopefully a better performing car than the last two races. Obviously, this is still a learning race for them. Le Mans will be the same for Aston Martin and the team. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean that Aston Martin Valkyrie seems to be a handful to drive. I think there's a lot of power. It's about getting it out there on track and getting the right setup for the car. So still interested to see what Heart of Racing does with that car and what the team can muster in terms of race pace. But yeah, a lot of storylines. Team Sure, as you mentioned, can they finally get that podium place, the podium or race win? Of course, Peugeot wanting to go into hypercar to win races, and they just haven't had that success yet. Cadillac, another manufacturer that has no success in WEC, have been close so many times, but not really getting there. Of course, it was a huge crash last year here
Right.
at the 6 Hours of Spa. So a lot of storylines. Drivers emerging, maybe also we saw Julian Andlauer really get his breakthrough race here at Spa last year. I saw so much pace from him. He really, really made the difference for that pros and competition car. So interested to see. I think the thing that really makes me wonder what Porsche are doing is how competitive they are at IMSA compared uh, to WEC. I don't know there's BOP differences, and
Right.
it's a different field of race cars as well. But when we look at how dominating they are in IMSA, and that you just can't measure something like that in WEC. Also looking back at last year, where they were the top car they were the car to beat last year. Um, it seems weird for me. If this was a smaller brand, if this was Peugeot almost, and not to make it seem like Peugeot is a small brand in terms of racing, it's not. Porsche is a huge racing brand. it just it seems weird for Porsche to do something like this and be so slow all of a sudden. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping they'll find the difference, and I hope they'll be competitive as much cars in as many cars in the top of hypercar as possible. That's what we all want. We want different winners, and so far Ferrari has really been the only car out there fighting for the wins, and
Yes.
I'm hoping to see a difference.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where Porsche's placed, where Ferrari's placed. I said BMW also kind of looks competitive over these first couple of races. I think that they could definitely have an opportunity to get in the mix as well for the win. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors to consider here. Real quickly, because I know this is something that a lot of folks are interested about, and I think this is key information. I'm going to put up a BOP graphic just so you all kind of get an idea. I'm going to put this in right now. I wasn't expecting this to happen, but hey, we'll put it in and see if that will help in any way possible. So let me just quickly get that real quickly. There we go. Done. Okay. I'm gonna edit it in
Yeah,
real quickly.
and just to finish up as well, I mean, Alpine last time out at Imola, all of a sudden just, I mean, it's like a sleeping giant. Out of nowhere, they get a podium, like a great result, and the podium place, I believe it was a podium place, yeah,
Yes, I believe it was.
and
Yeah.
and 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 just always being there. Mick Schumacher did an awesome job in that car last time out, and in my opinion, also the 83, of course, Ferrari threw that that podium place away. Uh, that end, like last segment of pit stops, really were the deciding factor for that race, and what time you needed to pit to make it to the end. But um, yeah, it just, there's so many manufacturers, BMW, but they are, and Alpine and Toyota as well. Let's not forget about them. They are the constructors champions of WEC and has been dominating that championship for so many years. But it seems like none of them matter because Ferrari is just miles ahead so far. Um, so uh, is this DOP change gonna change all that much, or have Ferrari just figured out the way to get the most out of that 499p and and win the championship this year?
Well, we'll see. I mean, let's take a look at the BOP now because we have that graphic. I'll just put it up real quickly. So, as you can see on your screen, viewers, you can't see us right now, but the Peugeot 9X8 remains the heaviest car on. Sorry, remains the lightest car on the grid. The 9X8 also is the most powerful car on the grid. The Toyota is the worst on the BOP, if you will, on both sides. As you can see, the Aston Martin, the Alpine, and the Peugeot are the most powerful cars on the grid. The Ferrari has been hit negatively on the BOP. Actually, a lot of manufacturers in hypercar have been hit negatively on the power side of things, but Ferrari especially, same with Toyota, have been hit. Same kind of goes for weight as well. The Ferrari is now 1057 kilograms, so 1057 kilograms. That's 2,330 pounds. The Toyota is also extremely heavy compared to the Peugeot, for example. So yeah, the BOP is definitely being a major factor here. We have a lot of things that are coming into play here. You can see us now, thankfully, viewers. So we can remove the BOP graphic for now, but hopefully that helps in some way. But yeah, so a lot of factors to consider in hypercar. There are 36 entries on the grid, by the way. Same amount as the last two races, so same cars, no change on that front. LMGT3, we haven't talked too much about that. That category, really excited to see how that kind of progresses. Last year, it was really Porsche, Lamborghini, McLaren that were up there at the top. As we know, though, the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 is no longer here in the WEC. It's not present at all. So that gap will be filled by another brand, whatever that kind of is. Um, Porsche, of course, last time out won at Imola with the number 92 first form 911. So we'll see if they can repeat the success from 2024 and win in the GT category. Of course, the 91 entry, the Manthey EMA car, won last time out. It was actually a Porsche 1-2 in LMGT3 with a 60 Lamborghini from Iron Lynx completing the top three. So I don't know. I think that just to quickly mention LMGT3, I do believe that McLaren are going to have a very fast car, and I also have a very strong feeling about Lexus. Those RCF GT3s have really been the most impressive car out of the entire grid for me, and that's saying a lot considering the value that hypercar has. But Lexus, they've turned up the heat this year. I did not expect that, and I'm really, really impressed by their performance. The Akotis ASP team, that is. The 78 and the 87 have shown that they can both consistently fight for podiums and potentially wins. Lexus achieved third and fourth last time out in Imola, their first podium in the WEC. Not a lot of people were talking about that, by the way. And Lexus were up there. So I genuinely think that they have an opportunity to get in the mix here at Spa as well.
Yeah, it seems like they finally found out, the contest team finally found out how to set up the car
Yep.
and get the works of this Lexus. Because of course we've seen Lexus do great in IMSA beforehand, but this season is really the first time we see them fight for points and for podiums in WC, which is great to see. Also, Porsche, the gap to Porsche has been closed, and so far it's BMW and McLaren being the fastest cars all of a sudden. So a lot can change in GT3 as well as hypercar. So I'm interested to see those if the battle continue from Imola. It was great to see so many different manufacturers fight, and it was also great to see the win from Porsche with Manthey Racing.
Right.
How they actually got that win, because it was a strategy call win. It wasn't necessarily on power, and of course with Valentino Rossi's car getting off track. A lot of problems and penalties and a lot of things going around factoring into the race, but a great race to see when looking at the GT3, and I feel like we're going to see something similar here at Spa. Maybe not that many penalties as we see normally at Imola. It's a very track corner cutting heavy track, so and Spa is not really that. So hopefully we'll get a lot more clean racing without that many penalties factoring into to the end result. But I'm looking forward to a close field in GT3 as always, and with Lexus fighting for podiums, it's just another car added into the mix of fighting for victory. And I hope to. A storyline there is in GT3 for me is also Mercedes. What is going on with that car? Because we see it in IMSA being extremely competitive, Win1
Right.
Racing really doing well in GTD, and it seems like Iron Lynx just haven't figured out how to set up the car yet for the World Endurance Championship. So, are they all of a sudden going to find some pace and set up for that car here at Spa, or is it going to be a tough season for Iron Lynx? Many questions for that team, in my opinion, because now they have had 2 rounds with that car, and it really hasn't looked that great.
No, it hasn't. I mean, this is a new car that's joined the WEC, even though the Mercedes has been around for quite some time. But yeah, I think this is a new partnership and it's showing. I mean, it's not been the season that Iron Lynx, I'm sure, would have hoped for. This is, I mean, obviously they were running Lamborghinis last year, both in Hypercar and in GT3. So it's going to be interesting to see how things how things progress. Mercedes are also introducing a new car, as pointed out by a recent comment that just came in. So maybe that helps Iron Link's performance later on. Lexus are also coming out with a new car next year, so the Akotis ASP team will get a completely different car. So that's going to be interesting as well. We'll see how that goes. And speaking of Iron Links, it's not just I wouldn't say issues, but more of just things that are happening when it comes to the car, but also the drivers. And this is a factor I kind of want to mention throughout this section that we're covering here. is that there are a few driver changes amongst the field in hypercar. I'll just quickly name them here. So, from my understanding, LMGT3 Iron Lynx have three driver changes. Christian Reed, who's the boss at Proton Competition, has left Iron Lynx in terms of his driving duties in the 61 Mercedes. Replacing him is Australian Martin Berry, who's also going to be in the car in the third Mercedes at Le Mans. For the 60 entry, Matteo Cairelli is going to have two new teammates for this round. Claudio Schiavone and Matteo Cresoni are not going to be driving at Spa. It's going to be the father and son duo, Brenton Grove, I believe, the Grove brother, the Grove son and father. So Stefan and Brenton Grove. They race, of course, in other series. They race, I believe, in LMGT3, in the ELMS Championship, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, though. They're going to be in the car at Le Mans, though, the 63 entry. That's the third Mercedes on the grid, but they're going to have some good preparation in time for this as well. Yuichi Nakayama in the 78 Lexus alongside Finn Gerzitz, and I believe, I'm going off the top of my head here, Arnaud Robin, if I'm not mistaken, in the 78 Lexus. So Ben Barnico still out because of his cycling injury. And then as for hypercar, the big change that we kind of want to I want to mention here is revolving Porsche and BMW. BMW will not have their two drivers that primarily race the M Hybrid V8s. That's Sheldon van der Linde and Dries Vanthoor. So Dries unfortunately will miss his home race, which is unfortunate. But the reason why those two aren't there is because of the Laguna Seca round. They are both competing in the BMWs at Laguna, as we'll get into in just a moment. And David, this is where I kind of want to ask you because Porsche Penske also have a change. Mathieu Jaminet and Matt Campbell are going to be over at Laguna Seca. They are the third drivers in both the cars, and joining them as their replacements in the WEC lineup. So the number 6 will have Lawrence Vanthoor and Kevin Estra, and alongside them will be Pascal Wehrlein, formerly E champion. He's going to be joining that car, and alongside the number 5 crew, which is Michael Christensen, driver, of course, from your home country, David, and Julian Anlauer, who impressed last year. So alongside them is going to be Nico Mueller, another Formula E racer and a former WEC driver for Peugeot. So two drivers that I want to get your thoughts on, David, that are going to be hopping into the Porsche 963s this time around at Spa.
Well, of course, Pascal. I mean, it's always difficult to jump into a car for a race a week, and on a track like Spa, you really have to know what you're doing. But you couldn't have picked two greater options almost. Like Pascal Wehrlein, of course, a former Formula One driver, a Formula E world champion, and Porsche driver now. In my opinion, an extremely fast driver, and in the number 5 car, Nico Müller, a veteran in endurance racing, and he knows what he's doing. So it's a really strong lineup still. I When I look at the Porsche lineups in general in the history of endurance racing and also this year, it's just an extremely strong lineup all over. And for them to take out Dries to take out what would you say, Dries Vanthoor, right?
Mathieu Jaminet and Matt
Matthew
Campbell.
Jaminet and Matt Campbell, yeah, two extremely great drivers, and put in Pascal Wehrlein and in Nico Müller, it just shows how great a catalog of drivers they have at their disposal. So um, I don't think it will make a huge difference. I hope to see a breakthrough for one of them. I mean, it could be great to see something like Julian Endlauer, what we saw from him last year, just doing an amazing job at this track and then being promoted the season after to, in my opinion, promoted to Porsche Penske. So yeah, great lineups, and I don't think it will make a huge difference. I think it will be a storyline to see another former Formula One driver back, and now at endurance racing. So always great to have them come to endurance racing, and then a veteran like Nicky Muller is also nice to see.
Oh yeah. Well, and also Verline has already got experience at this track in Formula One. I think he raced in 2016 and 2017 at this track with Manor and Sauber from the top of my head. So
Yeah.
that was 2017 the last time he raced in Formula One. And also both racers have driven a 963 in the past. They drove for JDC Miller Motorsports in IMSA this year. They both did at various times. And then this is great preparation for both of them. This is amazing preparation because if we all recall, Pascal Verline is going to be in the 963 at Le Mans, the third entry. That's the number 4 car. He's going to be piloting that car alongside Felipe Nasr and Nick Tandy, two drivers that have been on a roll in IMSA in 2025. They have been absolutely flying with the number 7 car, and they're going to be hopping in out of the number 4 for Le Mans. And Nico Mueller is also the test and reserve driver for Porsche. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to, I guess. And I think it's going to be great for Porsche Penske. And David, you highlighted how strong of a lineup Porsche Penske really has. So, it's great to see. One quick thing I wanted to mention is a comment that came in that says any game plays. That's the person that's put in this comment, and they say, I'm going to Spa this weekend, and it's my first race in the WEC trackside. Congratulations, by the way. Very nice to see your preview here. Greetings from Germany. First off, great country that you live in. Germany's a wonderful place. Thank you so much for the support, not just from you, but from all the viewers here. It's been great to see all of you in the comments here. We're trying to respond to as many comments as we can. Um, but yeah, there's definitely a lot to cover. Um, David, I guess this is a good time to move into our second preview, our part two, if you're cool with that. This
Yeah.
is going to be so we've covered Spa viewers. Now we're going to be covering the Laguna Seca round. So this is the TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship, and I just want to say right out of the box here, Spa was 36 entries. Laguna Seca is also 36 entries. And there's going to be 3 categories on the grid. The only category that is not here is LMP2. Now, one of the big storylines heading into Laguna Seca is that the Aston Martin Valkyrie is going to be on track for the very first time at this circuit. Now, this is a massive deal for fans of Laguna Seca to hear this track going around the circuit. It's my first time seeing the car in person. I am genuinely so excited. I cannot sleep. It's honestly I'm really excited for this amazing a possibility of seeing the Valkyrie in person. But that car is going to be screaming through the hills of Laguna Seca. We don't expect it to be super competitive with the other GTP entries, at least so far. But this is going to be great to see it on track. 5 manufacturers in GTP: BMW, Acura, Porsche, Cadillac, and now Aston Martin. But David, what are your thoughts heading into this race at Laguna Seca and to see this Valkyrie take to the track as well?
Well, every time we see the Aston Martin Valkyrie at a track, it's always fun to see how it stands up. Because you mentioned it being the first time it's here. It's the first time it's anywhere. Yeah. So
True.
so it's so great to see it come to these different tracks, and I saw a comment that in IMSA Valkyrie seems to be doing a little bit better. There could be
Mhm.
some BOP changes counting in there. Um, but that's the thing. Every time we see another race from Valkyrie, it has another step of development behind it, and the Heart of Racing team has learned a bit more about it. So the the progression is huge every time. It may not look like it, but it is there, and otherwise the storylines are like almost the same in some way, because what Ferrari are doing in WC, Porsche are doing in IMSA so far. They're winning everything they're touching, and are just absolutely dominating. And it's so wild to see that it's so flipped. Because in of course I mentioned this before, that in the WC Porsche are not doing great. So
Right.
of course, defending champions, defending winners. At this track, they won the 10th win, 11th win. It would be the 11th win this year. So I'm interested to see where they stand up. I'm hopeful that the competition is closing up a bit. I, of course, as a fan, want to see close racing at the top of the standings, um, but yeah, a classic track, Laguna Seca. We've seen a lot of fighting also down in the GTD field. An iconic moment with a Corvette of Jan Magnussen and a Porsche up at the main straight collided. So a lot of things can happen at this track, even in when it's just going straight forward. And yeah, a lot of storylines. It's a bit of a different championship when we're talking IMSA. It's a different BOP system.
Right.
It's a lot of different drivers, even though we're looking at some of the same cars. The best examples are Porsche and Cadillac in this case. So hoping to see a bit better performances by Cadillac as well. They haven't been their year so far in endurance racing.
No.
So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen there. And if and for both races really, if BMW finally can get that result that they really deserve, because they have been pace-wise there or thereabout, but race result-wise, not really been there. So I'm looking forward to see where they will end up, and hopefully we'll get a different winner than Porsche and Ferrari this weekend.
I'm kind of hoping for the same thing as a fan of both manufacturers. I do want to see them do well, but it would be nice to see another manufacturer on top. I'm not going to lie. I am also hoping to see this car on screen to the right of your screen, viewers, the BMW M Hybrid V8. I'm interested to see how this car gets on at Laguna Seca. Last year, it was very quick. It was up there. It was competitive. It wasn't really fighting for the win necessarily with Cadillac and Porsche. They had faster cars. However, the 24 entry did qualify in third with Philippine behind the wheel. So I'm interested to see, can BMW M Team RLL focus their attention on the race and get the race right. Qualifying, they've been on it. They've been on pole every single weekend. I think that it's possible that could change here at Laguna Seca, but it's definitely possible that Dries Vanthoor does it again. I'm kind of hoping that he does, because the statistic is wild. 3 poles in a row for BMW. That's very, very awesome. If he can do 4 in a row, that would be pretty cool. So, I mean, you put Dries Vanthoor in the car and he can do well. I think that's a fact. So very interested to see how that goes. I'm very, very keen to know what happens in the GTD Pro ranks as well. The fight is getting really intense. The championship has Ford at the top with the Mustang GT3. Porsche is right there, though, with AO Racing's car. AO Racing, by the way, have a different livery for this weekend. Roxy is joining in instead of Rexy, so that's kind of cool as well. There's just a lot of storylines. I think that as we'll see in our predictions, Corvette, Pratt Miller Motorsports looking pretty strong as well. Laguna Seca last year, they led the opening laps with both of their cars, and I'm thinking back to a previous race here at Laguna Seca. For those that are have been familiar with endurance racing, one of the most epic battles in GT racing was during the 2009 American Le Mans Series race between Porsche and Corvette. If you recall, it was when the Corvette and the Porsche went side by side to the finish, and there was a dramatic moment when the car spun into the wall, the Corvette that was. It was Magnussen versus Bergmeister, and I'm doing a video on that, by the way, and I'm just covering it, and I'm thinking, yeah, Corvette, they had a really strong car at Laguna Seca in 2009. My question is, can they take the performance from 2009 and remember what they had and put it into 2025 and win? I think that they have a really good opportunity of doing that, especially considering their performance last year. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the GTD Pro battle goes on, especially considering we haven't seen these cars since Sebring. That was the last time the pro category was in IMSA. So, yeah, really exciting stuff for sure at Laguna.
Yeah, seeing if anybody can put up a fight to Ford. They really are on it. I
True.
hope it to be Corvette as well. There is always there's so much history with the Corvette team, and just to see them fight for victories are just absolutely great. And the battle between them and BMW at Daytona was a classic. And now we remember we're talking about a battle between them and Porsche. Are we going to see Porsche and AO Racing fight off a Corvette for victory down the main straight? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, hopeful to see great fighting in the GTD Pro field and the GTD field. Mercedes with Winward Racing also doing really great there again this year. Can they get a great result and extend their lead? Um, so a lot of question marks, a lot of things can change, and when we're talking about the GTD field and GT fields in general, it's always difficult to predict because it's so much down to the teams as well. These cars are extremely close and can change from every single hour. Of course, you could say the same about hypercar, but there is still a bit more of a difference. The field are more spread out,
Yes.
and when we're talking GT racing in general, it's so close, and overtakes can happen at the weirdest moments, and sometimes put in a huge drama with these GTP field cars going around. Um, so yeah, of course we have no LMP2s at this race. Takes out some of the cars on track and makes more space for the GTD and GTP field. Not that it's gonna change a whole lot. It's still gonna be traffic playing in and a lot of fighting through traffic. But yeah, with the LMP2 out, it's easier to focus on the GT and the GTP. So yeah, looking forward to it. Um, I'm hoping, and when we get to my predictions, I'm hoping for a great result for Corvette and Porsche. So let's see if the new Roxy can put up a fight to Corvette.
We'll see. It's definitely going to be an exciting battle in the GTD Pro ranks. And just to point out as well, viewers, we talked about during the Spa segment that there are implications from the Laguna Seca round on the Spa round. And that's also the case here in Laguna Seca. There are implications from the 6 hours of Spa to the Laguna Seca round. One change that I quickly want to mention, and this is the most prominent change, is that Earl Bamber, who usually drives the number 31 Cadillac, is over in the WEC driving for Hertz Team Jota's Cadillac. That's the number 12 entry. Now, the driver that's replacing him at Laguna Seca is going to be Frederick Vesti, who, of course, is a driver from your home country, David. So, I want to quickly get your thoughts on Frederick Vesti. You've been following his career for quite some time, more than me, I'd say. Are you excited to see him participate at Laguna Seca in this 31 Cadillac, and what do you think he could do?
Well, it's the second time he's in it, so it's not a first time experience for him. And
Right.
being a reserve driver for Mercedes, a top team, have been driving a Formula One car for a long time, just not in races. It's always great to see another Dane drive in the top class when you are a Danish guy like me. But Frederick is an extremely fast driver. He was really unlucky around Daytona, spinning out. Something happened to the car, so so a lot of things. Endurance racing hit him
Oh yeah.
kind of there, but I see a lot of pace, and he's a smart driver. He doesn't take unnecessary risks. He is learning how to drive in these championships, so um, he's still fast. He knows what he's doing, but he needs to learn how to race endurance racing and not the formula classes, because he's been doing that for the most of his career. And going over to endurance racing, as you know, is a completely different type of race with traffic plaguing so much. So yeah, and a fast driver, still learning the ropes of endurance racing, but definitely not a bad substitute for Elbamber. And I don't see it being a factor that is playing in negatively for the 31 car. Maybe in actually the opposite way. Maybe it could be a positive thing for the 31, having a driver like Frederick Vesti who has a lot of pace. It's just about turning it over to fighting through traffic and staying with a new type of car on track. and a difficult track like Laguna Seca. It's not an easy track to drive around and fight at. So a lot of things to learn, but we saw Kevin Magnussen do something like it when he joined in with Chip Ganassi. He was fast right off the bat, so let's hope that Frederick Westy can build on his performance from Daytona and get a great result.
Yeah, I mean, great thoughts there on Frederick Vesti and Whelen Engineering Cadillac. I definitely think that they have a good shot at a good result, as you'll see in my prediction later on. But I think that Whelen Engineering, Action Express Racing, they got a good opportunity to take a big result here at Laguna Seca. And I think that Vesti's, like you said, only going to help the team and only going to help them elevate to a big result. Especially considering where Whelen Engineering were last year. They had a really good opportunity at taking the win. Arguably had the most competitive car. I mean, you could kind of say that. I mean, depending how you look at it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's our preview done for the 6 hours of Spa and the IMSA TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Both races, really excited for them. But now let's move into our predictions. So I'm just going to quickly get the graphics here. One moment. Just want to make sure everything's good. Oh, nope, wrong graphic. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, let's move into our race predictions for the 6 hours of Spa first. Then we're going to move into our predictions for the TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship. That's the IMSA race at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Joining me here is David for this whole predictions round off as we take a look at what we think, who we think is going to be on top for this incredible endurance race at Spa. So, David, I'll hand it over to you. Who do you think is going to be winning and taking the top 5 positions in both Hypercar and LMGT3?
Well, when we look at Hypercar, I don't think anything is going to change. I think it's going to be Ferrari doing it again, this time being the 83A, of course, Ferrari, followed by the number 50 Ferrari. So it's going to be a 1-2 for Ferrari. They're going to be the cars will be once again. But I feel like it's going to be close. I see BMW doing extremely well here again. So I put the number 15 car in third place. I think qualifying is going to put them up there, and they're going to have to fight to stay there, but they will. And will finish in third. Toyota, I can't make a top 5 without putting Toyota in there. No matter what the BOP says, I'm putting them up there. And then a hopeful more than a thoughtful position for Porsche Penske, the number 6 car. I put it in fifth. They need to do better. It's simply put. So I want to see them at least finishing the top 5, and that's why I put them there. When we look at GT3, I see a McLaren win. They were great here last year. They've been great this year, and I think they should finally get the result that they deserve. And I think Spa is a great place for them to get that, and I think they will be able to get that. Otherwise, it's the top 3 cars actually from GT3 this year. Looking past Lexus, but it's put in 5th place. I see Porsche finishing second, subbing out that win last year to a 2nd place this year. The BMW of the 46 car finishing in 3rd, continuing on with the great pace from last round. Heart of Racing, the number 27. They're not going to do great in the hypercar, but they're still going to fight great in GT3. And then Lexus building on from a continued great pace here in the WEC and starting to really fight for great positions. They're going to finish 5th for me with that 78 car.
Great predictions, David. I really like everything you've put here. I think that Ferrari are going to be competitive once again. I like the idea of the number 83 car winning this time round. The 50s got the win at Qatar. The 51 got the win at Imola. Now it's time for the turn of the 83.
It's their turn.
Yeah, it is their turn, really. And I mean, this would be, I think, their 2nd win after winning Lone Star Le Mans last year. So they need a big result. And I think this would be a good opportunity for that. So yeah, great prediction. And in LMGT3, you've put McLaren there as well. I think that they have a a very good opportunity of taking a win as well. So I definitely can agree with you on that. So those are our predictions for, or sorry, those are David's predictions for the 6 hours of Spa. I haven't given mine yet. Let us know your predictions as well in the comments below of yours in the live chat here. Unless you're watching the replay format. But yeah, let us know who you think is going to be on top in Spa and Laguna Seca as we go through our predictions here. Okay, so let's move into my predictions now. David, thank you for setting yours out. I will move into mine. So I've gone a little bit more bold on my winner in Hypercar, and I think that they have a good opportunity of doing it this time round. For my predictions, I've given the number 15 BMW M Team WRT entry the win in Spa. I think they have a really good opportunity of taking it. I think BMW has showed very strong pace, and I feel that the number 15 car in particular with Magnussen, and I think this is just going to be a really strong car this weekend. It's WRT's home race, of course, in Belgium, and yeah, I think they have a good opportunity of winning. Ferrari, I think they're going to be strong once again. I do think that the BOP is going to affect them in some little capacities, but I do believe that they're going to have a strong car. I've put the 50 and the 51 both on the podium. You can't like discount Ferrari from being at the top in the points here. So I think 50 and 51, both the factory cars, are going to be on the podium. In fourth, I've gone with the number 12 Hertz Team Jota Cadillac to finish in fourth. This was the winner last time out here in Spa. Of course, this was a Porsche entry. Now it's a Cadillac, but I feel that Cadillac are going to have a much stronger car compared to Imola. So I do believe that Cadillac are going to have a stronger car compared to the previous round. And I think that considering Hertz Team Jota's performance in the past here, showing that they can take advantage of strategy calls and do the right calls, especially. I think Cadillac has a really good opportunity of picking up a big result. And David, you pointed out just a moment ago that you can't do a top 5 prediction without putting Toyota somewhat in there, and I feel the same way. I've put the number 7 Toyota GR010 in 5th. I think that, like you said, David, no matter what the BOP says, Toyota are going to be up there fighting for whatever position they are in the mix for. Last year, it wasn't a super great result for Toyota. I think they finished outside the podium places, if I'm not mistaken, but still, they were in the mix despite having the BOP affecting them. But we have to remember that Toyota Gazoo Racing is one of the most successful teams here at Spa. They've won multiple times, with their last victory coming in 2023, thanks to the very car that I've put in 5th, the number 7 entry. So I definitely feel that Toyota is going to be up there. Now, moving on to LMGT3, speaking of Toyota, I believe their luxury and performance brand Lexus is going to have a very strong car here, and I feel that this is the race that Lexus picks up their first win, the number 78 entry. This is going to be the car driven by Finn Gerzitz, Arnold Robon, and Yuichi Nakayama, Super GT racer, of course, and I feel the 78 car is going to pick up the win. I feel that the number 21 Ferrari AF Corsa entry, this is the Vista AF Corsa 296, the car that was involved in an incident last time out in Imola. I think it's time for redemption, and I feel that Ferrari are going to have a strong car here at Spa, and I think that the 21 will finish in second. I also, like you, David, believe that McLaren are going to have a strong car here at Spa, and I do believe that they're going to get a big result. So I've put the number 95 McLaren in third on the podium. It's time for McLaren to get another podium and get back in the fight for some strong points and the championship, of course. Okay, so that's my top 3. In fourth for LMGT3, I'm putting the number 87 Akotis ASP Lexus. So that car, I've put in fourth. Both Lexus in the top 5, by the way. And then, finally, completing the top 5 is the car that won last time out in Imola, the number 92 First Form Porsche. I feel that Porsche are going to be somewhat in the fight. It's not going to be a super competitive race for them, but, I mean, you can always count on the number 92, especially that First Form entry, picking up a big result. So, yeah, those are my top 5 for both Hypercar and LMGT3. Earlier, David gave his for the Spa event here, the 6 hours of Spa, that is. And yeah, so David, you've predicted Ferrari to take the win in Hypercar. I've predicted BMW to do that. and you've predicted McLaren to win an LMGT3, and I've predicted Lexus to win an LMGT3.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting new winners in our predictions, so of course that's something nice to see. I like to. It's nice to see you put Cadillac in the top five. Still looking for that Cadillac WEC curse to be broken.
Yeah,
And knowing what Cadillac went through last time here, with that huge crash, and just in general their bad luck, as also mentioned in the comments. Um, I hope to see them get a top five result. I think that's a great result from Jota and Cadillac this year in endurance racing in general.
yes.
Looking on to my predictions for Laguna, I hope to see a bit more than a top five prediction, top five placement. But when we're talking WC and we're talking the 6 hours of Spa with the Toyotas, with Ferrari, and with all the other competitors, I see a top five being a really great result for Cadillac. And you putting both Lexuses in the top five for GT3, I think that's very sensible. I think Lexus is gonna be a extremely competitive car. As mentioned before, I think the cars that I put in my top three, in my top five in general, maybe looking past the Aston Martin, are the cars to fight for victories right now in GT3. So Lexus definitely a top car, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them be dominating the GT3 field, maybe even. But yeah, in general, great predictions, and of course, hoping to see them come true with that number 15 BMW. Of course, Kevin Magnussen driving in that. And me being a Dane, I want to see him win races. I think he deserves it. He's also, I don't know if you guys have seen it, he's going to join Team WRT for the Nürburgring. It's just been announced. So, yeah, he's going to join Team WRT for Nürburgring and fight for overall victory there as well. So let's see if he can muster a victory there.
What a great lineup, by the way, of the 24 Hours of Spa with Magnussen, Valentino Rossi, and Rene Rast. I mean, this is DTM, F1, endurance racing, and MotoGP experience right there in all those drivers. Right, it's just, I mean, that car is going to be in the fight for the win. I think we can count on that. So those are our predictions for the 6 hours of Spa. Great predictions from both of us. As I said earlier, make sure to let us know your predictions in the comments below. So whether you're watching the live stream or you're watching this race video format, make sure to post your thoughts in the comments below. Moving on to Laguna Seca now. So we've covered Spa. Let's move in to the big event at Laguna Seca. This is the IMSA round, of course. So yeah, let's go into this. David, I'll hand it over to you. We're going to go into our GT predictions first, and then we're going to go into our GTP predictions. So, David, who do you think is going to be finishing in the top five in GTD Pro and GTD?
Well, I hinted at it before, Jonah, but I think Corvette is going to do absolutely amazing here at Laguna Seca. I think it's going to be a 1-3 finish for them in GTD Pro with the Fast Motorsports, the winning car being the number 3 car and the number 4 car finishing third. I think Roxy is going to make a great debut with that new livery, and I think he's going to finish second at the AO Racing number 77. It's going to finish second. Lexus, we mentioned it before, talking about GT3. I think they're going to do great here in GTD Pro, as well with Lasse Sullivan. I think the number 14 car is finishing fourth. And Ford Multimatic, they're going to continue being a car fighting for victories and fighting for the top of the championship. And they're going to finish fifth, in my opinion, with the number 65 car. In GTD, I see the Hearts of Racing number 27. I put them in my top five for GT3 at Spa. I think they're gonna push up from the fourth place and put them in there, and I think they're gonna win the Laguna Seca GTD field. Second place is Lasse Sullivan again with the number 12. The 96 BMW Turner Motorsports is gonna finish third, and Winward Racing, the championship leading car, is gonna finish fourth. followed by Inception Racing in fifth place with the number 70 Ferrari there. So a mix of different positions in the championship and different manufacturers all over. The only manufacturer finishing in top 5 for both cars is in GTD Pro for Corvette, in my opinion at least. But yeah, I think it could be so close, I mentioned before. So that's my predictions for Laguna Seca.
Great predictions in the GT field, David. I like them a lot. And I gotta say, this is a great transition to mine because I think I gotta agree with you on a Corvette Racing win. Because for me, I've gone with Corvette Racing, the Pratt Miller Motorsports entry, the number 4 to take the win at Laguna Seca. So obviously, me and David both predict that the Corvette Z06 GT3R from the manufacturer Chevrolet is gonna do well. For me in GTD Pro, second place is going to go to the number 48 Paul Miller Racing BMW. So this was the car that finished on the podium last time out for GTD Pro cars at Sebring. And in third, I gotta put the entry, the Roxy AO Racing Porsche. I mean, this is a car that we want to see do well. Roxy has got to get the opportunity to beat her brother in some way and say, like, hey, I can win too. So that's what AO Racing are going to try and do. And then in fourth and fifth, I've gone for 2 American cars, the number 64 Ford Mustang in fourth, with the number 3 Pratt Miller Corvette, the sister entry to the winning car on my list, coming home in fifth position. So for me, that's what I've predicted. So that's my GTD Pro predictions. I'm moving on to GTD now. In the GT Daytona category, I'm going for a win from Porsche and the 120 Wright Motorsports entry. I feel that this car has got some really strong pace. You know, you got Elliott Skier, Adam Adelson in that entry. Last year, they had a pretty competitive car, and so far this year, they've been pretty decent as well. I mean, Daytona, they were up in the fight for the win. They qualified, I believe, on pole position, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel this could be the race that they do it. I'm also putting Turner Motorsports on the podium, just like you, David. I feel that Turner Motorsports are going to have a strong car here at Laguna Seca. Last year, they were in the fight for the win. They were up there, and if it wasn't for the end of the race with the drama with the, I think it was Jordan Taylor's 40 Acura, that 96 BMW would have probably got the win, most likely. Unfortunately, though, they lost out. Windward Racing got the win at the end of the day. Now, in third, I've gone for a Chevrolet entry. I've gone for a Corvette, and I've gone for the number 36 DXDT Corvette. This is the first time this car is going to be racing at Laguna Seca, but I gotta say, this is a fan favorite car. Not just because of that beautiful turquoise livery, but because of one of the drivers that's in that car, Robert Wickens. He's going to be returning to Laguna Seca this time in the WeatherTech Series. He previously raced in the Michelin Pilot Challenge all the way up until most recently in 2024. And now he's going to be jumping in alongside Alec Udell in the Corvette. So I think that 36 car is going to be in the fight, and hopefully they pick up a big result like a podium. In fourth, I've gone for the number 32 Korthoff Competition Motors Mercedes. Another Mercedes, I think it's going to finish in the top 5. I feel that just that car is somewhat competitive. And I think that there's a chance that the 32 could get a big result, like a top 5. Concluding the top 5 in GTD for me is the number 12 Vasser Sullivan Lexus. I feel that Vasser Sullivan Racing are going to have a strong car once again, and it's going to be hard not to put a Vasser Sullivan Lexus in the top 5 in GTD. It was very hard to do in GTD Pro to not put the number 14 entry there because Lexus is always strong wherever they go. So yeah, that's my predictions for the TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship GTD field. David, great prediction from you. We've both predicted Corvette Racing and Pratt Miller Motorsports to win in the pro category. It's going to be interesting to see if those predictions come true, especially considering the performance last year. In GTD, we've gone for something a little differently. You've predicted the Heart of Racing Aston Martin to win, which I could definitely see. For me, I've predicted the 120 Wright Motorsports Porsche to win. If we had the same prediction, that would be a little bit, I guess, boring in some way. But we got to go with something different, and that's exactly what we did. So let's move on to our prototype field or GTP predictions for the Monterey Sports Car Championship here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. In a moment, you'll see a graphic which displays the GTP field and a blank space for LMP2. That's because the P2 field isn't here, of course. And now, I guess that's it from me for just a moment. I'll hand things over to David, and I'm curious to see who do you think is going to be winning and finishing in the top five in the Grand Touring Prototype category?
Well, for GTP, I mentioned it beforehand as well. I think Cadillac is going to do a little bit better here. I think Cadillac is going to get their first real great result in the endurance racing this year, and I think the number 10 Cadillac with Wayne Taylor Racing is going to win uh, Laguna Seca, followed by the dominating number 7 Porsche Penske car. I think they're still going to be up there. The number 24 BMW by Team RLLL. LLL. Ah.
A lot of
By
L's.
Team RLL. For 24 is the number 24 is going to finish third. I think Porsche number 6, Porsche Penske is going to finish fourth with the number 6 car. And I think Frederick Vesti and that Wheel Engineering 31 Cadillac is going to finish fifth. I think it's going to be a great weekend for Cadillac. I think this is going to be a bounce back round for them, and what they've been waiting for is Laguna Seca for some reason. So I see them doing really well here and finishing 1 and 5 for Cadillac as a manufacturer, but of course 2 different teams.
I like your prediction a lot. I think that Cadillac is going to have a strong car as always. We also can't rule out Porsche from being in the fight, as you predicted them both cars in the top five for the Penske entries. And I like that you also included BMW in the top 3 as well. It just shows the consistency of BMW being in the fight with a competitive car. I mean, of course, we hope for a win or something like that as well. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I like to see BMW up there, and I think that you have a great opinion on that.
It's such a young team, and it has been showing so far this year. In WC, it's a bit of a different story.
Right.
I feel like if Ferrari wasn't there, it would be BMW winning a lot of races. So, but for BMW and IMSA with their team is such a young team and made some small mistakes around Daytona, which ultimately cost them in the end. And I think it's those kind of mistakes that make them a non-race winner so far this year, because the car is there pace-wise, which
Right.
you mentioned it before with qualifying being so great. So yeah, I see them qualifying great and being up there, but small mistakes making it so that they won't win the race in the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we'll see how it goes, and see if BMW can achieve a big result here at Laguna Seca or at Spa in the WEC. Moving on to my predictions for the Monterey Sports Car Championship at Laguna Seca. David, you've predicted the number 10 Cadillac to finish in first with the number 7 Porsche in second. I'm also predicting Cadillac and Porsche to finish in first and second, so I like to see that we're on kind of the same page there. But for me, I've gone for a different Cadillac entry. I've predicted the number 31 Whelen Engineering Cadillac to finish in first and finally get redemption to what happened to them last year after the issue at turn 4 with Jack Aiken going off the track. They had the pace last year, and I think that they're going to come back and they're going to prove that they can win races again in IMSA. The last time, of course, they won was in 2023 in just the second round of the Modern GTP Championship at Sebring. They got, of course, a little lucky from that, but it's not been, even though they won the championship in 2023, they haven't picked up that many wins, only one so far. And I think they need to prove that, hey, we're in the championship hunt, we're looking to win again, and also, more importantly, they can win without Pipo Derani. Pipo Derani has been one of the fastest drivers in IMSA across that team. When he left, there was a lot of question marks over the competitiveness of Whelen Engineering and if they would be able to pull off big results like wins in the past. Now they have Earl Bamber and Jack Aiken in that car. Of course, Earl isn't here. It's Frederick Vesti. But I think that Jack and Frederick are going to prove that, hey, Whelen Engineering is here. We are quick racers. We have a quick team, even without Pipo in this organization. And so I feel that Whelen Engineering's got an opportunity to win here at Laguna Seca. In second and third, I've gone for the two Porsche Penske Motorsport entries. I think they're going to be in the fight as always. It's hard to really say that Porsche are not going to win because they've won literally everything so far. If I were all of you, I wouldn't be surprised if you predicted Porsche to win this race. I'm honestly thinking in my mind, well, maybe I should have predicted Porsche to win because they've been that consistently dominant in the IMSA GTP category. But I do feel that maybe a little bit of BOP help and maybe a little bit of just things not working out exactly to plan, as always, is going to allow Cadillac to just barely get the win off of Porsche. I think it's going to be a really close fight for sure. In fourth, I've gone for the number 24 BMW RLL entry. I think that this car in particular, Dries Vanthoor, is going to be in the fight as always. I think that the BMW is a very quick car. Last time out, of course, they got the podium with Philippine and Dries Vanthoor, both drivers putting in great performances in that car at Long Beach. So yeah, I think it's going to be in the fight again. Finally, in fifth, I have to put an Acura up there, and I'm going to put the number 93 Meyershank Racing entry. I think that Acura have a strong car, but in the past, it hasn't really worked out at Laguna Seca in the GTP competition. Acura have not had the best car. This isn't really their strong track with the ARX06. In the past at Laguna, they have had a very competitive car, so I'm hoping things change in the future. Of course, they are, I believe, the third most successful brand at Laguna behind Audi and Porsche. Or not in that order, Porsche and Audi, in that order. But I think that Acura is going to have a competitive car, but like I said, they're just going to miss out on that extra pace that Porsche and Cadillac ultimately have. So we'll see how it kind of works out. But yeah, those are my predictions for the TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship in GTP. David and I have both predicted Cadillac to win different V Series R's entries. Of course, you've predicted the 10 Wayne Taylor Racing to win. I've predicted the 31. But ultimately, we both think that Porsche Penske are going to be in the fight once again. And we've both predicted the number 7 car to finish in second. So I think we can confidently say from our predictions that we agree that it could be a fight for the win between Cadillac and Porsche for the overall success in GTP.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It seems as though, I mean, we're just making predictions, of course, but it just seems silly not to put Porsche up there fighting for the victory when we've seen they've been dominating so much
Right.
this year. Also knowing that Porsche last time out here was the race winner, so there's still like the history of the track is competitive, and knowing they can get great results here with that car, that exact car, getting great results here last year. So I see them doing this again this year, and as you say, Cadillac taking the win. It's maybe their turn now. Of course, there isn't something like turns to win in motorsports, but that car being a fast car still, you shouldn't forget about it. Cadillac still has one of the best cars in hypercar and GTP. So you really should never forget about them. And Will Engineering, of course, without Pipo Girani now this year,
Right.
it hasn't been their year so far, but maybe they can turn it around now. It's not a bad driver lineup at all. And the problem for most teams in GTP so far this year has been fighting off the Porsche Penske's, and it's a difficult job, but I think that it can happen this weekend. And so far, we for some reason think both of us think that a Cadillac can do it. So hopefully we're right. Hopefully we get close racing. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. Getting great racing, fair racing, and close racing. That's what we like. So yeah. But of course, we want to be right with our predictions. But remember, we're just fans. We're just making predictions just as much as you are, and we can be fanboying a bit about our favorite brands. Definitely, knowing me, I like the Danish cars. I like the Danish drivers, and I put them up there. But no, I mean, but normally we're not that far away from the end results. So I hope to see a lot of your predictions also in the comment section. Now you got an ours. So what are your predictions for the two races this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are thinking that BMW is kind of going to be up there from what I've seen. Cadillac and Porsche seem very quick in GTP, but we'll see how it works. We did have a comment earlier saying that Ranger is always fast at Laguna, and I completely agree with that. Ranger van der Zande in the number 93 Acura, I think that he's extremely quick. One of the fastest drivers in the field, and I mean, as proven by Petit Le Mans with his stint in the night with no headlights, I think he has proven that he is a high class racer. And every time I've seen him, I've actually I ran into him at Laguna Seca once, and he seemed very confident in his abilities to to finish with a big result. And I think that he proved that in 2023 with his win of this race alongside his then co-driver Sebastian Bourdais in the '01 Chip Ganassi Cadillac. So I think that Rengo's got a good opportunity. So definitely don't count out the number 93 Acura in particular. And actually, don't count out Meyershank Racing. I think that they could be in the fight as well. That's part of the reason why I've put the number 93 entry in the top five. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So those are our predictions for the TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship. Earlier, we just went over our 6 hours of Spa predictions. So a lot of things to keep an eye on, of course, as we head into these two exciting races across two different parts of the world as well. Of course, Spa is over in Belgium. Laguna Seca is over in sunny California, where I'm at in the USA. And so, yeah, I think that it's definitely going to be interesting to see kind of how things go. But as we prepare to kind of conclude this stream, David, was there any further thoughts you wanted to cover before we kind of head out for the time being?
Not anything else than I hope we will get great racing and close racing. And just my finishing thoughts that, yeah, no matter what happens, we want to see a close battle and a fair battle. And normally we see that. So let's hope for as much action as we got last year around Spa and Laguna Seca. And of course, Jonah, I hope you get a great trip to the track with loads of I know if I know Jonah right, he'll post a lot of videos on YouTube as well. So stay tuned for that. None of us are gonna finish up with a watch along. We can't make it for this weekend, but we will of course try to give you as much content on the socials anyway. Just a little quick notice. I talked with Jonah about this before. Right now, no, this weekend at Spa, we're going to see the first a demonstration of hydrogen cars racing on Friday, the 9th, around the track. So if anybody want to see what the new era of racing may look like, they're going to be an Alpine hydrogen race car and a Toyota Gazoo Yaris hydrogen car racing around for a quick demonstration and then staying static to be displayed around the track for the rest of the weekend. So if you want to see what the future of endurance racing may look like, check that out on Friday. It's 2 p.m. local time, um, Friday the 9th of May. So yeah, a lot of excitement there for what the future may look like.
Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, and definitely interested to see kind of how things go. I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on how that outing goes for those two entries. We'll see how time progresses. With the hydrogen class still a factor that WEC is kind of looking after. And speaking of the times for that event, that's going to be the exact same time as the race as well, viewers. You'll be able to catch it on FIAWEC.tv at 2 p.m. local time. That's in Belgium, of course, Central European Standard Time on Saturday, May 10th. And then for Laguna Seca, that race is going to be happening at 12 p.m. Local time, or around 12 p.m. I think it's like 10 after, to be precise. And that's going to be happening on Sunday, May 11th, which also is Mother's Day in the USA. So, Yeah, definitely excited for all the activities we got coming up. I will be attending the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca event, so that's the reason why I cannot stream. Otherwise, I would. However, we are going to be live streaming the starting grid for both races this weekend, so keep an eye on that. If we weren't busy, of course, we would be doing a watch party, but we will be back for the future races. Of course, we got Detroit coming up at the end of the month. But to be honest, that's just a small event. In the big picture, what we're really focused on, and I think, David, you and I both know exactly what we're talking about. I'm sure a lot of viewers already know the 24 hours of Le Mans. This is going to be an epic year with the amount of racing that we have. We are so excited for what's to come next month. We're gearing up for a really exciting month of racing. But that concludes everything for Spa and Laguna Seca. Check out the official Spa preview video format that just came out on the YouTube channel. Tomorrow we got the Laguna Seca preview coming out as well, with a few extra videos on a variety of topics relating to the race weeks for WEC and IMSA coming out on the channel throughout this week. So once again, David, thank you so much for joining me in these preview and predictions. Really excited to see how these races turn out. I'm excited to see if our predictions come true as well. They probably won't on my end. I always don't get things right, but hey, I mean that's predictions. So yeah, really excited to see how things turn out. Anywho, though, thank you all for joining us for this preview and predictions live stream. We will see you all in the next one. And remember, racing is going to be happening this weekend. Saturday is going to be the WEC. Sunday is going to be the IMSA race. Catch you all later. I'm Jonah, and this is David signing out from the TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship and 6 Hours of